Aishwarya, you also turned producer with a really powerful film called Karki. And I really want to know a little more about that because in an industry where, like Rajiv was saying in a session, that anyways the opportunity for women to get like really meaty parts is very limited, unfortunately, and it's changing but very slowly. When something like Gargi comes along and it's such an author-backed role, to not only co-produce it but also take the decision to not jump and cast yourself in it as the titular character, but give that opportunity to somebody who's really stellar, which is Sai Pallavi, is a really, I think it's a power move. And I've only seen, I mean, I don't know of many instances like this, but one instance from the West that I can quote is a promising young woman where Margot Robbie got the script from Emerald Fennell, and she was actually perfect for Cassie. But she said that, you know, casting me is going to be like casting, like I'm so two type that it would not make a difference. We need a bigger star, we need a bigger actor, and we need to cast against type. So she actually got in touch with Carey Mulligan and literally handed over the role of a lifetime to her. And that's the same case with Gargi. So how did this happen? How did you do this? And where does that wisdom come from?
Thank you so much. You're very kind with your words. Gargi, again, I mentioned the director Gautam Ramchandran. He has been like the first friend I made in the industry, and still is. We have lots of fights, we have lots of creative differences that we have, but Gargi, I feel like I did the right call for him as a director, because the first film that he did didn't work well for him. This is around the same time, Mayanadi worked really well for me. So I've been there as a friend, I've seen his journey, I've seen how much of effort this man puts into writing, and that he's gotten right, you know, like he put in 5 years into writing Gargi. Writing, making, all of it put together, 5 years was the timeline. And he was not deterred because his person was a failure. And so we faced a lot of roadblocks. At that point I was not involved in any way in the film. So the only thing I had done was I discussed the script with him. And there are a lot of elements in Gargi that is from my personal journey. I don't know, have anybody watched the film Gargi? No, you have. Okay. So there's this element where she says she doesn't wear the color yellow. She doesn't like the color yellow. That comes from my personal experience because a bad touch has happened to me when I was a younger girl while I was wearing yellow. So these very genuine human reactions that come through our life experience, that I was able to provide. But other than that, there was nothing in the film that required my involvement in the early stages. But I was seeing how much of effort this person was putting. He was with a production house and they wanted a big star for the movie. Actually, much before he went to the production house, he asked me, but I know his journey. So if I was also struggling to place myself as an actor in Tamil, now I didn't want to go and headline and make the film smaller. I felt like the film needed a bigger actor. It would benefit the director, it would benefit the content that he's trying to tell people, you know, it would benefit that if a big star did it rather than me doing it. So that was obvious to me. And when he was with the production house and we were trying to get in touch with the bigger actors, we figured how difficult it was to actually convince them of the story, because the ending of Gargi is not something that is routinely seen in mainstream cinema. It is a little different. And it was so difficult for us to maneuver, trying to convince multiple people that he said, whatever I have, whatever my brother has, we are going to pull in and just start with the production. And he had Sai Pallavi in mind from the beginning. But Pallavi had done only one film at that point in Tamil, and which did fairly okay in the market. It was not a big hit or a big success. But we always knew she was a good performer. So when he discussed this idea with me, I'm feeling very guilty now. But at that point I said, but you go for a bigger actor. If this production house is able to give you a bigger actor, go for a bigger actor. If something doesn't work out, let's go circle back and let's meet her. Oh my God, I hope she doesn't see this now. Yeah, but that is a that's a cliche route to take, and I'm sad that that was the advice I gave him. But I'm also glad nothing worked out with the production house, nothing worked out with the other actors, and we were in it. Like, what the hell is this? Why is it so difficult to mount after putting so much of effort in the writing? And that's when Gautam decided to produce it himself, and we needed seed fund to keep it moving, to actually start, take up an office, sit together for writing and all meeting actors and all of that. So I decided to fund that part, to start that. That's the only thing I did right, I feel. But that was a ignition point.
But I love it. It's like what Aishwarya was telling me earlier. She was like, I kept 5 lakhs for my expenses, and the rest I was like,
Because I had done like 3 to 4 films at that
that
point.
really sounded dangerous to me. I was like, okay, fine, great.
This is the emotional part of the decision. This was a very emotional decision for me. That the emotional part was that I don't have much means. I was staying with my friend also at that point, Steffi. So we basically were sharing rent, and half the month, so I was not putting in rent, so there's no difference. So anyways, I kept in that money aside for me, and the rest, whatever I had, I put in a seed fund. And as and when I was still working at that point, so as and when the salaries would come in, I would pull in and send the money to the production. But that felt like the right thing to do for the script. Whatever I did was for the, and that is one biggest learning I've had. There will be waxing and waning in career. There will be times when, what you're doing is not working out. You might be doing all things right, but it's not working out. But just keep doing the right thing for the script, the story, for yourself as an actor. And don't take yourself too seriously, I feel. Like, if I had taken myself too seriously and if I had done the part, I'm sure I could have done it, but the fragility, the tenderness that Pallavi brought into it, maybe I would be bringing something else. I really feel Gargi is complete with her.
It's so lovely to hear you talk about it like that, about another actor, and also create that opportunity. But you've also you're working across languages. Malayalam cinema primarily where you began, and then Tamil cinema, and now you're also doing movies in Telugu. What does it take to do this? Because it happens a lot in the South. I know that actors in the Hindi film industry are now, they were doing this earlier also, maybe not as much, and it wasn't getting seen as much as it is now. But this traveling between the 3 or 4 industries down south, how does this work, and is it like, do you need to learn the language and kind of go in, and what kind of time investment and what kind of investment does it take for you to do that? Because every industry is kind of very self-sufficient, and they operate on their own, and they don't need, I mean, of course everybody needs a wider audience base, and we could do with that, but they're also very self-contained industries in themselves and follow a completely different set of rules. So how does that work?
So down south, it is very important for you to know the language and speak the language. The only South Indian language I used to speak was Malayalam. Like, even though I was a Malayali, I've seen maximum of 6 films in my life, and I think one of Kamal Hassan's Avve Shanmukhi is the one Tamil film I've seen. Even though I'm from Trivandrum, Trivandrum is known to have a lot more people who speak Tamil and Telugu. But I didn't have the opportunity in my childhood. So I've picked up the language after I came into the industry, after I started working. But there's a lot of brownie points you get for speaking the language. Like, people are very happy when you speak the native language and you take the effort. I mean, it shows, the effort shows when you're working, when you're shooting, when you're promoting. I really believe the reason why I was cast is because I could look like a Malayali Tamil Telugu person. And I try to be as authentic I can be to my feelings and how I am as a person. I've never tried to be somebody else, and I feel that has worked out well for me. And that, I feel, is helping me in getting cast in such roles. I really like the roles that I've gotten. There's this film called Ammu I would like you guys to watch. It's on Prime.
I love. It's the first Telugu film that I did. First Telugu straight film that I did, and it was on Amazon Prime. A lot of people advise me don't do such an intense role because in Telugu people want actresses or like the mainstream actresses to be more bubbly. That's a word we use.
Bubbly is a word we use very often also.
Yeah. So this is not bubbly at all. She's going through a lot of trauma in her life, and the movie is about domestic abuse. And I mentioned earlier that I'm greedy. So this was the advice I'm getting. Don't do it. You will not get a second Telugu film. That's it. Done. And but I'm so greedy that I want this also. I want that also. I want to do Uantava Mava also. I want to do Ammu also. So I was like I need this. I'm not. If somebody else takes and does Ammu, then I'm going to be jealous. See, there is no Gautam's career involved in this. It is only my career. So I decided to do the movie. Karthik Subrat sir produced it, and it was life changing for me. The experience of it, the way I shot for Ammu, the way the director guided me. I discovered my technique, like what works for me. I discovered that I just need my director to speak to me. So he speaks to me before every shot. So we decide on, we create a very strong inner world. We decide what was, I mean, not we decide, we figure what was happening before, what state of mind she's in now. And I am very proud of my portrayal of Ammu. I'm very proud of it. I rarely say that, I rarely own up or appreciate myself, but I'm very happy that I got to be here.
It's a fantastic film, and also what you'll notice if you start to watch, Telugu films are literally like they don't do independent cinema at all, and I think except for Care of Kanchabelam and maybe one or two other films, Ammu is one film that falls in that category where you marry commercial success, also a thrilling narrative with something really deep and potent that the film says. So it's a career defining role, and you must watch it. Before I open the house up for questions, because I don't, I know that everybody's eager to ask you questions. I also want to know that when you're the producer, and I know that you're an active producer right now, if you were to again reflect back on the 7 years that you've spent in the industry, and we are talking to a lot of people who do want to enter the industry or at least are interested in it, tell me the 5 things that you feel that you can do to prepare yourself. Like Rima Das, who is from Assam and is one of the most celebrated global filmmakers from the state, actually went to Bombay to become an actor and didn't have a good time at all, which is very sad. And came back after 4 years and made something called Village Rockstars, and everybody sat up and took notice. And then after that, Rima's not looked back. She's an industry onto herself. So if you see Village Rockstars, she's shot it, she's written it, she's figured out everything for it, promoted it, all of that. So we don't want, I mean, it's a good thing that it turned out like this. But what one wouldn't want is for young people to enter a space and then have that kind of an experience and then go back home, because everybody is not going to have Rima's story. That, she'll come back triumphant and she'll come back and do something. So walk us through like 5 things that you feel that you can do to make this easier for yourself or at least better.
See, there was a conversation I remember I had with Prithviraj Sukumaran, who's a superstar. And I have my moments of panic, and this industry is not something you can strategize to the T and work. There's a lot of things that still is open to chance. But what I would say is control what you can control, which is your acting, which is what you should do for your PR, which is maintaining your body a certain way for certain roles. Being open. The most important thing is surrender to your director, because he has a vision for the film. So you surrender to the director's vision. Do what he wants you to do for the character. Don't fight it too much. Like, I believe, like, if I follow my director and not pollute what he's trying to create with my own version of what should be done, I think the job is 90% goes good. Imagine if in Ammu I was wearing lipstick and all that in every shot, then it takes away from what the audience is going to feel for the character. So yeah, so what he told me is that, what Prithviraj sir told me is that we are all winging it. All of us are winging it. We are all doing things that we think is going to work, and you keep doing the things that work, which is you work on. Like I just did a acting workshop with Atul Mongia. 7 years after I entered into the industry, I can sit back and say there are things that is working for me. I don't need to improve, but I have this need to improve. I have a vision right now for myself. In the beginning, maybe I was also going with the flow, seeing where it could take me. But now I have a vision for myself, and I got better people to manage my work. I have an agency now that represents me, and all is well for now. We'll see. But no, it's not like that. But I've had really difficult experiences with agencies where their vision for you is like underground. It's not even like zero. It's really bad. So they would just be thinking of finding you some random work so that they can take their cut and be happy. But that's not. So you should have. I realized I should have a vision for myself, and I should get people who can enable that vision or help me get to it. So now I feel like at points I'm also my agent. I feel like Aishwarya should be this. So yeah, be a little crazy at times, but work on the things you can control, and watch a lot of good performances, I feel. Then, not because you can learn from it, but it'll be a grounding experience. It'll be like, you you don't need to like be so important in your own heads. There are other people out there who's doing a better job than you, so you learn in a way. And healthy competition is always great. If an actor is doing well, notice what they are doing well. Notice what they are doing right. You can always learn from those things. Yeah, the one learning that I've had, which I find most important, like right now in life, is that cinema is not everything. Cinema is a part of what you're doing. It is not your entire life. So focus on getting small experiences that make you happy. So prioritize your own happiness, prioritize your mental health. We'll be okay. Whatever it is, you're all going to be okay. And Rima Das's experience is a great experience to have. She found something else altogether, stumbled upon it, which made her happier. See, there's too much of competition in the acting section that we can't always hope for the bullseye, right? So you need to be prepared. You need to have an exit strategy. I have my exit strategy. I have an organic farm planned in my head. So
It's
yeah.
farming or
You're also a doctor.
Yeah, I'm also a doctor, but that's not in my plan.
you're just like, what about that degree?
You've now become the spokesperson for my mother. But yeah, like I think life is more important than cinema. That's just one thing you do, and we should always see it like that.
That is amazing. I'm going to open the house out for questions because I have to make her happy.
Oh yes.
Hi Aishwarya, I'm again a big fan. I've seen Gargi, which I loved, especially the ending, and Pony and Selvan as well, which is a very special because it's my first Maniratnam film on a big screen, and
I was going to be upset.
yeah. So like his films, they don't come here often, and that was like a pan-India kind of a film. So in both the movies, in Gargi, like she mentioned, like Sai Pallavi was leading the narrative, and it was not around you. And Ponniyin Selvan, there were like so many actors, like so all superstars and all. So I don't know, how are you so secure? And I remember like your character was like the one I loved the most because it was such a funny character. And in the second film that came the next year, like you come a lot later in the film. Like in the first film you were there during the start, and the second film you come like at the second half. And when I saw, I was like, smile. I was like, where is she? Where is she? It's not coming. And then finally, your character came, and like there was a smile on my face. So again, like how do you secure like? I don't. I'm really sorry, Rajiv. I don't think people. I know. That's why I said like I don't think Hindi film actors are going to do this.
See, my strategy was different for both. As in Gargi, For one, it came to me. It came to me to act, but I had my reasons to back it as a producer and as a character artist in the film. And I knew I was doing other films. See, if I was only doing that, maybe my insecurities would have been high. But I was doing other films at that point that I was really happy about. Ammu, I was shooting for at the same time. There was Kane Kane I had just shot, which is one film I love. Yeah. I love the writing of that film. So if any of the writers are here, just please do watch that film. And also watch any of Sanjay, Bobby. Those are Malayalam writers. Watch all of their films. They're really good. So my insecurities weren't open out. My wounds weren't getting fried at that point because I had my other films. And Ponniyin Selvan was because it's Manisa. Manisa asked me to stand at one point as a wall clock. I will do that. But see, second, what happened is that I learned a lot with Manisa on his set, and I believe I was very dedicated to him as an actor. So because of which, and I could do justice to the character. I've gotten a lot of good response from the audience for Pomurli, and I feel like I wasn't drowning in a sea of superstars because I was handheld by Manisa through the character. He told me what exactly to do. So which is what I did my character. What I could control was my acting and what I could bring to the table as an actor. So that I did. And second film, I knew I was nowhere there in the film. I had only a little bit of things. So what I did was I placed myself in all the PR thing. So I did that. Like all the Bombay tour, the Delhi tour, I was there. I just made sure that I benefit in some way from the film. So which is a strategic move to do. I requested to Madras Talkies saying, I know I'm not there much, but I would like to be part of the PR. For the promotions for the film, and they were very happy to accommodate it. I'm not going and asking for something, big. I'm asking like I'm going to act in the film. I'm saying, can I also be a part? Because I know the first part Pomurli was celebrated, and also since people started asking him where is she, why is she not much there in the second half, I got to do one more film with her. Win-win.
No, but in the earlier session, somebody had asked that question about, actresses in the West having a longer shelf life and this, that, and the other. The thing is that a lot of people, what Aishwarya said, which is a great learning, is that when you're working as a professional, you're creating a slate for yourself, right? When you create a slate, you do some projects because they are directors that you want to work with. Some projects because you're in the center of it and the role is really good. Some projects for money. And many projects that would also kind of put you in a bracket where people will get to notice you and where you'll get a certain kind of PR. So I think it was done beautifully. Next question.
Good afternoon, ma'am. I'm Shivani. मैंने आपका वो 2 मूवी देखा है, एक्शन और क्रिस्टोफर, जिसमें आपने बहुत अच्छा किया है. सो मेरा क्वेश्चन है कि आप अपने मतलब फ्यूचर एक्ट्रेसेस को क्या टिप देना चाहेंगी एक्टिंग के बारे में?
I mean, as hard as it can be, I would tell you to be true to who you are as a person. That is the most important. Upskill yourself at every point, but आपका authenticity को खो मत देना, correct? हाँ. Yeah, so that be true to who you are as a person. There's this actress Nimisha Sajan in Malayalam. The roles that she does, nobody can do. The roles Annabelle does, nobody can do in Malayalam. And I love that as actresses, we have a lot of characters that we are getting in Malayalam, especially that requires us to be ourselves. They don't want us to be a Kiara Advani, they don't want us to be a Kareena Kapoor, they want us to be who you are. That is why we are being cast. And I feel the more we fight for being our authentic self, the more people will be forced to, cast you for who you are. And I really believe that is what has been helping me in finding roles in Tamil and Telugu as well, and not just in Malayalam.
Hello ma'am, myself Vishal Singh from Royal Gilbert University. Ma'am, my question is, which movie is your favorite? Which one?
Amongst the ones I've done?
Yeah ma'am.
I have too many favorites, and my favorites are because of the experiences or how I could act, stuff like that. It's not about, it's never about success. It's movie success, but I feel Ammu is a favorite for the acting, the way I discovered myself or my process as an actor. Ammu was a film I discovered. Kane Kane is one because I almost didn't do it. Do you know that? I almost didn't do it because I felt the character was always in agony, and it was like she was just the victim of other person's decision. She was just there. But actually, I figured a way to pull off that character. My director helped me a lot, and the shooting experience was fun, even though we were doing an intense movie. So these two, I would say, yeah. And Kumari too. Sorry, Kumari is another film I co-produced. I would really like for all of you to watch it. It's on Netflix. It's almost a Kerala folklore kind of film. I love the visuals. I love the shooting experience I had with the film. Yeah.
Ma'am, and one more. Among all your movie, which character you like the most?
No, I like all of my characters. I really do.
Thank you for a lovely answer.
I'm Aryan Sinha from Team Luma Pixels. We are VFX studio set in Northeast India. So we are one of the pioneers of this field. So my question to you is, we have seen that before even the pre-internet age, movies from the southern Indian region have done well with the audience. Like the movies were dubbed and they always had an audience. What is something that they have figured out quite well, which other parts of India, like the eastern region, northeastern region, movies from our region haven't figured out well? Is it something to do with the producers, or is there something else?
What a fantastic question.
So I actually think there could be, as far as I'm aware, it is a 90-year-old industry, right? So the experience also matters. South, we have been churning out a lot of films in Malayalam. Like last year it was 172 or something, out of which some 10-15 does well in the box office. We remember some other 10 films, the rest we don't even remember. But the thing is that we have gained a lot of experience from things. I believe the one thing you can do correctly is in the writing. You bring out stories that are very, very regional, that says the story of the people there and their experiences, their humanness. You know, that's what makes it international, I feel. This is something Shah Pushkaran had told in one of his interviews. Shah Pushkaran is a great writer in Malayalam. He has told in his interviews that as regional as it can get, as the stories of the humans there in your area, it goes international. And I truly believe in that. Yeah.
That hyper-local is global.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys. We had very little time.
I had so much of fun. Thank you. I hope I didn't bore you.
Thank you. Thank you,
I
Aishwarya.
think this is getting here that the sessions just need to be longer. We'll fix that next year, but thank you so much, Aishwarya, for making time. Aishwarya is going to fly out to her next movie schedule, and it's a miracle that both Aishwarya and Rajiv have made time for this. Thank you so much for doing this. It was such a pleasure to chat with you, and you shared so candidly. So thank you so much for doing that.